All right. Let me just make sure everything's correct before I step. Let me make sure everything is correct before I step. Everything is correct before I step. Absolutely. It's looking absolutely amazing, man. What's going on, y'all? This is Marcus Rosa, aka Mazuma TV. Back at y'all with some more boxing talk, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive night. I hope y'all had a great day overall, man. Back at y'all with some more boxing talk. We're gonna talk about Abdullah Mason and Sam Noakes fight being official according to Abdullah Mason. And we're gonna get into Vergil Ortiz ducking Jaron Ennis. We definitely gonna have this conversation, man. And of course, we're gonna open the platform up to some open boxing topics. But before we get into that, man, if you guys are new, please hit the subscribe button. We on the road to 3K. We about to hit that 20. I mean, we passed the mid 2,900 mark. You feel what I'm saying? We actually just cracked, 2,970 subscribers. You feel what I mean? So 30 more, and we'll be cracking the 3K mark. And I'm highly appreciative of everybody that's giving the channel a chance and showing love to the home of boxing excellence that is Mazuma TV, man. Shout out to everybody that's in the building so far. You see what I mean? Shout out to my boy Anonymous for hitting the group chat up and letting everybody know that we are live, man. Shout out to the people in the comments already. My girl Smoochie in the building with the first comment of the day. Waving, what's going on, Smoochie? I hope everything is well with you and yours. Lorenzo, what up? Showing love all the way from Tokyo, man. Forever dedicated. What's going on, man? I can't complain, bro. It was a beautiful day off from work. You know what I mean? I've been off work since Thursday. You feel what I mean? So I had Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday off, man. But we got to get back to the grind tomorrow. That was definitely the recharge that I needed. You feel what I mean? Got some things done around the house, putting my son's new clothes away, man. My son got so many gifts, bro. God damn, that was a process of putting everything away and all that good stuff. You feel what I mean? My girl, she doing some great things with her nail tech business. She over here working with her clients and stuff like that. So great productive day overall. You feel what I mean? Shout out to everybody that's in the building. You said what group chat you always saying? Who in there? I mean, that ain't none of your business, brother. You know what I mean? It's like no, it's me, Ree, Anonymous, Ralph, Slime, Lorenzo. That might be it. I don't know. There's a few people from the nation. Few people from the nation in the group chat. You feel what I'm saying? One of the best group chats around. Chris Maldonado, what up? Coffee place that rest in peace StreamYard. No, not necessarily, bro. We ran out of hours, you feel what I mean? And I'm refusing to pay $40+ for, StreamYard. That's just not happening. You feel me? So we just gonna be alternating whichever way we choose. But I could we're going live directly through YouTube. I can only allow one other person in the chat. I mean, on live at a time. So, if anybody wants to link, I'll be able to post it in the comment section below and we can get into it after we get into these conversations. You feel what I mean? Simba Boxing, what up? Simba Boxing, what up? How you doing, brother? Some good things happening in the boxing world, man. Shout out to Abdullah Mason, man. He I'm gonna say he's a promoter's dream. Pause. You feel what I'm saying? The mindless consumer, what up? He's a promoter's dream, and I'm gonna tell you guys why. And he may very well be a trainer's dream as well. I'm sure his father is very proud of him. You feel what I mean? But when I'm saying he's a promoter's dream, is that not problematic at all. Exciting style. You know what I mean? Following the program seems to be very easy to deal with. From a business aspect. And he's young, hungry, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to not necessarily appease the promoter, but make his representation look good. You feel what I'm saying? I'm seeing Abdullah Mason on a local show out in Ohio, where that's where he's from, and he's very well spoken, smart, young, mature kid. That's what I always see. That's what always stood out to me about Abdullah Mason: his composure, his maturity for his age. You feel what I mean? And you really got to chalk that up to his support system. You know what I mean? His parents and shit like that. You feel what I mean? So shout out to them. But I see Abdullah Mason out here promoting himself, and he really getting himself known in his hometown and stuff like that. And in the midst of promoting himself and getting that recognition from his own city. They had asked him about him possibly fighting Sam Noakes, who's currently the #1 contender for the WBO in the lightweight division. You feel what I'm saying? And Abdullah Mason is #2. He let it be known that that fight is official. That fight is official. That fight is next. And he says that Sam Noakes has to fight him. Now, obviously, what I take that as is, at least on Abdullah Mason's side, he's with the fight. You know what I mean? I'm not going to necessarily call it official at this point because you know how it goes nowadays. A fighter could agree to something and then all of a sudden they losing their pen or whatever the case is. And I wouldn't necessarily be surprised. And this isn't me being pessimistic or anything like that. But what I can say is there's a possibility that Sam Noakes may walk away from this and explore another opportunity. I would not be surprised at all with how the way should be going in boxing nowadays. But Abdullah Mason has let it be known that he's with it. He's ready for the opportunity. He's ready for that world title shot. And whenever I've seen the media question him and his, the current stage of his career, and if he's ready for a world title, he makes references to young champions like Mike Tyson and Wilfred Benitez. You see what I mean? So this is a young, hungry, up-and-coming champion in the making, to be honest with you, man. This kid has all the tools necessary to be a phenomenal champion in the sport of boxing. Love his hand speed, his athleticism, his reflexes, his versatility defensively, his punching power, his punch placement, aka accuracy. This kid absolutely has it all. He has a killer instinct as well, which in my opinion cannot be taught. You feel what I mean? I don't care how good of a coach that you have. It's either you a killer and you not. And Abdullah Mason is a fucking killer, man. So Sam Noakes definitely got his hands full. This is going to be a tough fight for Abdullah Mason as well, just considering the fact that Sam Noakes is strong. You can tell he's very heavy-handed, and he likes to fight in close quarters. And, I see Abdullah Mason like to fight on the inside as well. I think he's going to have to fight a more disciplined type of fight against Sam Noakes in order to, have the highest rate of success possible, in my opinion. I think he's going to need to keep this, at long range as much as he can until Sam Noakes is broken down to the point where he could be stepped to. I think that Abdullah Mason can systematically break Sam Noakes down with the sweet science, aka an educated jab. You know what I mean? The understanding of distance. You know what I mean? Because I didn't really see anything in Sam Noakes' tool bag that reassures me that Abdullah Mason will have a tough time on the outside as well. It just seems like Sam Noakes is a heavy-handed inside, inside type of fighter that likes to, throw hooks at close range and shit like that. And if you ain't built for the pressure, if you don't have the boxing ability necessary, Sam Noakes will pack you the fuck up. That's what I've seen. But Abdullah Mason, he's well versed. You know what I mean? Very, very disciplined fighter, and his composure is out of this world. So I think that this is an opportunity that he should definitely jump at, and I think that this is a fight that he could very much win and become the youngest active champion in boxing right now. Who's the youngest champion in boxing right now? That's actually a pretty good question. Is it still Brian Norman? Who's the youngest champion in boxing right now? We need to figure that out because I guarantee you nobody is Abdullah Mason's age that's currently champion right now or younger. I believe Brian Norman. You said Fundora? Nah, Fundora. Oh, Gabrielle Fundora. Okay, Gabriella Fundora. She might be, but I was referring to men. No disrespect. No disrespect to female boxing. Well, I wasn't thinking about females when I had asked that question. But if she's the youngest champion, I salute to her. I think Brian Norm is currently the youngest champion in boxing right now. Let's actually take a look at Gabriella Fundora's age. How old is that woman? She's 23. So even if so she may very well be the youngest champion in boxing right now. Let's check out Brian Norman. What's Brian Norman? 24? He's 24 years old. So he's 24. Gabriella's 23. And Abdullah Mason is 20 from what I understand. So he's in a great position right now where he could do some, David Benavidez shit and become world champion in his very early 20s. He's 21 right now. So he has a great opportunity, yo. I'm not even gonna lie to you. So I'm excited for Abdullah Mason, man. I'm glad that Top Rank is putting him in that position to fight for that title. I don't think anybody deserves, in terms of like upcoming like contenders, I don't think anybody deserves it as much as Abdullah Mason, considering his activity, his and how the way he's been able to, perform at a high level each and every time he faced adversity early in his career. You know what I mean? He's showing the maturity and the composure and a level of composure to bounce back off of that completely. um, I like Abdullah Mason, man. I'm a huge fan of Abdullah Mason. I ain't gonna lie to you. And one of my goals on this channel is to definitely get an interview with Abdullah Mason, because that's somebody that I would be genuinely intrigued with speaking to. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, that's pretty much that. Why you saying? Why you saying that? Why you saying that, Jam Queen? That's messed up. I'm sorry. I definitely don't want to come across that way. Don't label me as that. Don't label me as that, Jad Queen. You petty. Justin Jackson said Abdullah in 6 rounds versus Noakes. Noakes looks like he looked like a sturdy, tough, durable dude, but obviously you can't make assumptions, because you could honestly say that Sam Noakes ain't never been in there with somebody like Abdullah Mason. You feel what I'm saying? And the opposite is also true. Could we say that Abdullah Mason has faced somebody as strong and powerful and resilient as a Sam Noakes? We don't know. We just gonna have to wait to see. Jad Queen, you missed it. I was one of very few people that was pushing for females to fight 3-minute rounds. And I was even critical of Katie Taylor getting female fighter of the year when Amanda Serrano deserved it. I applauded Amanda Serrano for vacating her WBC title due to the WBC discriminating against female fighters. I'm a strong advocate for women's boxing, and I've always said that females boxing is, at the biggest. It's in the most popular place that it's been in a very long time. If not, it's at the highest. It's at its peak. You feel what I mean? So I'm looking forward to it. And I see Amanda Serrano in the gym as well. She working her ass off. You know what I mean? Shout out to Amanda Serrano, a true pioneer in the sport of boxing. You know what I mean? Along with the Clarissa Shields, the Katie Taylors. You know what I mean? We're not going to include Alicia Bumgarner. She a drug cheat, but shout out to all the women out there that's, putting in the work the clean way. You know what I'm saying? And, putting it all on the line, just like these men out here, and putting on just as exciting fights as men, if not more exciting. So shout out to the females out there, man. I love female boxing. Unlike a lot of people, I love female boxing. But anyways, and shout out to the females in the chat, of course, because y'all some of the best supporters that the nation has. You feel what I'm saying? But let's talk about this. I wanted to address this real quick, and then I want to get into what Brian Norman said in a recent interview, because he's getting ready for a fight against Jis Sasaki. But before we get into that, let's talk about this interview that Eddie Hearn had just put together, man. This actually had gotten released about 4 days ago, but I'm just seeing it because there was so many interviews that I had to keep up with that I guess this one slipped by me. But Eddie Hearn did an interview just confirming that Jaron Ennis is moving to 154 pounds. And he let something out here that I feel like should have been discussed publicly. With all the scrutiny and criticism that Jaron Ennis had when they were saying, that he ducked Vergil Ortiz and all this bullshit, man. And I was telling y'all, there's no way in hell that y'all could call this a duck. You feel what I'm saying? And I also mentioned when it is time for Boots to move up to 154, I'm going to see if you motherfuckers got the same energy. And what happens? Y'all don't have the same energy. I'm going to tell y'all why. So for those of y'all who wasn't around boxing or was new to boxing around the time, there was a point where Turkey Al-Sheikh was interested in Jaron Ennis fighting Vergil Ortiz. According to Eddie Hearn, Jaron Ennis and his team said yes at 147 pounds, right? So they had said yes. They went back. No, I'm sorry. Turkey Al-Sheikh had offered to fight to Jaron Ennis for Vergil Ortiz at 147 pounds. They said yes. Turkey Al-Sheikh went back to Vergil's team. They was like, no, we can't make 147 pounds no more. You know what I mean? This fight will have to take place at 154 if you guys are interested. Jaron Ennis was like, nah, I still want to stick at 147 because I want to unify my division. So I'll turn this fight down for now. No belt was on the line. A weight class that Jaron Ennis was not involved in. You know what I'm saying? Somehow, some way, that equated to being a duck. When Boost went on shortly afterwards to unify the division in a fucking career defining performance, in my opinion, against Amonte Stanionis. Now, Boost is making his way into the junior middleweight division where Vergil Ortiz is. And according to Eddie Hearn, Jaron Ennis was interested in fighting Vergil Ortiz at 154. His first fight at junior middleweight, fighting Vergil Ortiz. And what does Vergil Ortiz say? Let's see what Eddie Hearn has to say about this, man. Let me see if y'all. I'm gonna put the audio so y'all can hear me. You know what I mean? Ain't no cap in my rap, man, because y'all be like, oh, where's your sources? Where's your sources? All right, let's get to the sources.
Have a nightmare weight cut and it's just going to catch up with you. So it wasn't necessary. I loved the TO fight, and so did Boots. But it was like, can I perform to the best of my abilities at 147? And the answer is I can probably perform good enough to win, but not to the best of my abilities. So when you see Keyshawn, Boots at 154, you will see what I'm talking about. So it's very likely that those belts will become vacated. We're going to meet this week and make a final decision. But yeah.
So it's not even confirmed yet that Boots is going to move up to 154 yet. And this is exactly why I told y'all we should not just jump straight into the rumors unless Boots says it himself. He said it in multiple interviews. Don't believe it if you didn't hear it from me. You know what I mean? But people are already taking the bait and assuming that Boots is moving up. You feel what I'm saying? He said the final decision will be made this week and whether Boots is moving up to 54 or not. Let's continue.
It's time to move to 54, and he's been unified at 47. Now it's time to try and become a two-division world champion.
Gotcha. So moving forward, I mean, I don't know if, I mean, you would know better than me, obviously. If Boots is in a position to fight in the near future, there's been talk.
Yeah, August. I mean, they said to us, would you fight Vergil Ortiz?
Yes.
August. And we said yes. And then they come back and said Vergil wasn't ready for August. I said, look, we're happy.
Y'all heard that? They, meaning I'm assuming Turkey Al Sheik, Riyadh season, it got to be one of them. Whoever's involved with Vergil Ortiz, would you like to fight Vergil Ortiz in August? They said yes. They reached out to Vergil Ortiz team. Now that Boots is at junior middleweight, he like, yo, what's up now? What the fuck is up now? Because when I was at 47 and y'all offered me to fight, I wasn't ready to go up to 54. I was busy trying to unify my division. But I unified my division now. I'm at 54. What the fuck is the deal? We at 54 now. What's up? Let's get something happening in August. And August, it's currently June 16th. This interview came out on my son's birthday. This was June 12th. So if we pull out this calendar real quick and we see how far away August is from June 12th. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 weeks right there. 9. That's 11 weeks away. And let's say this is between 11, 12, 13, 14, around 14 weeks until the fight. That's not enough time for you to come back into training camp. Why is that? Why is that? Somebody please tell me why. Let me count it. Let me count it the right way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11 weeks. 11 weeks ain't enough for a fucking training camp. Let's say it was 8 weeks. 8 weeks ain't enough for a training camp. Ain't that enough to get y'all niggas going? Don't y'all training camps be 6 to 8 weeks anyway? Am I tripping? Am I bugging? Let me know. So they trying to see if you're trying to get a fight happening in August, which is about 8 weeks away. Probably more than that. I don't know what dude talking about. Pack him, please. Smack you with the wrench, please. I don't know what dude talking about. They ain't got nothing to do with us. 8 weeks typically. 8 weeks typically, right? So what's the problem now? What's the problem now? So y'all was running around, and I'm not talking about the nation, but I'm talking about y'all boxing fans that's not involved with the nation. The shit that I be seeing all over Twitter, Instagram, all these different social media platforms. When Boots was at 47 and he was trying to unify, and Vergil did not have anything to give at the 154-pound division besides a fight, just a plain old fight. Y'all called Boots a duck for that. When he told you exactly what his intentions was before he made his debut at junior middleweight. He accomplishes what he looks to accomplish, taking another belt off a champion, actually beating somebody and simultaneously defending the title that he had given to him. Now he's at 154. He's looking to see what the fuck is going on. They asked if he would like to fight Vergil. They say yes. Vergil said he's not going to be available in August. Why is that? Why is that? It's not like he just fought recently. When did Vergil Ortiz fight MarkMazuma? This was a while ago. This was a while ago, y'all. Let's keep it real. He fought MarkMazuma in February. He fought MarkMazuma on February 22nd. What is we talking about? He fought him on February 22nd. So that's March, April, May, June. He's been out of the ring for 4 months. That's plenty of rest. It's not like how Canelo did Sergey Kovalev. You know what I mean? He came off of a war against Anthony Yarde, and then Canelo caught him slipping, and then had a diminished version of Sergey Kovalev. No, you're well rested at this point. You're well rested at this point. So you saying you're not available for August, you'll be available later on during the year. Absolute bullshit. That's a duck at its finest, to be honest with you. But the energy is never the same. This went right under the radar. This was swept right under the rug. You feel what I mean? We calling Boots a fucking duck for turning down a fight against somebody who's not even in his weight class. But now that he's in that certain guy's weight class, and you know that certain guy is saying that he's not available for an August date, which is 8 weeks away. It's, nobody cares because it's not Boots. Nobody cares because he's not a black fighter. Nobody cares. Why he does Sean Terrence like that? Oh, okay. You said my bad. All right, cool. Shout out to my boy Sean Terrence. Marky Dan said, not only that MarkMazuma fight wasn't no blood and guts war. Yeah, he didn't really take no punishment. MarkMazuma was on his bicycle. He was trying to get the fuck up out of there. He ain't want no problems. You feel what I'm saying? So even if it was a quick turnaround, it's not like you took any punishment and needed like a strong recovery. But I understand how grueling the training camp is and how you need some rest. It's been 4 months. It's been 16 weeks since your last fight. Just about 16 weeks. You sitting on the sofa. You don't want to get this extra bread at August against a motherfucker who's just moving up into the division? Because I'm gonna tell you what. If you don't catch Boots when he's fully, if you don't catch Boots lacking in terms of, just moving up into the division to fight him, once he gets acclimated to 154, you assed out. Once he know how it feel to have them 10-ounce gloves on, and once he start realizing that he faster than a lot of these motherfuckers and they can't keep up with his pace and all that, you assed out. You might as well catch Boots lacking while he inexperienced at 154. That's your best bet. As soon as he gets settled into the division, because he looks big as shit right now. So he's going to acclimate like this. Once he acclimates to that fucking weight class, you assed out. And you would have been assed out regardless, Vergil. Your defense trash. You know what I mean? You just you a good pressure fighter with good power, a good work rate. But we seen what happens when, you know what I mean, that heat get sent over your way too. We seen the Bohachuk fight, nigga. We ain't forget about that. You know what I mean? We ain't forget about that. So I can only imagine with a more athletic, faster, hard punching fighter like Jaron Ennis, I can only imagine better combination puncher with a better gas tank. I can only imagine what he'll do to you. I can only imagine what he'll do to you. But like I said, man, this is why we Mazuma TV. This is why we set ourselves apart from everybody else, because these motherfuckers just follow the headlines that they read and just want to talk about that. We read between the lines in this motherfucker. You feel me? We read between the lines in this motherfucker. I just find it like the double standard is crazy between black fighters and motherfuckers that got the complexion for the protection. if Boots, if this would have been the opposite, this would have been the opposite. Like, let's say Boots would have stood at 47, right? And Devin Haney's moving up into the division. You feel me? And Boots, he accomplished what he needed to accomplish, all that good shit. And Devin Haney's like, yo, what's up? Let's get a fight popping. After, you know, in the past, he's expressed interest. Because Boots don't really say nothing. So let's say Boots expressed interest in fighting Devin Haney. And at one point in time, they were saying, oh, Devin Haney was ducking Boots, blah, blah, blah. And then and Devin Haney, like, when I go up there, we going to see what's up. And then he goes up into the division and try to see what's up with you. All of a sudden, he not available. That smell like duck to me. That smell like duck to me. They would have never let Boots get away with this shit. They would have never let Boots get away with this shit. Y'all see how they came at him when he wasn't even in the same division as the nigga. Imagine how that shit would have went across if they were in the same division. You feel me? These niggas is full of shit. That's why I don't respect. That's why I don't be respecting these media niggas, man. Like they not consistent for the most part. They get paid to push certain agendas. Even if it go against what they actually believe, they'll follow that agenda just because they're getting a paycheck for it. These niggas are suckers, bro. Straight up. Like, these niggas suckers, dog. So, Vergil Ortiz, yeah, I mean, I remember him putting out interviews when he was in the same weight class as Boots, and Boots was talking about, yo, we can fight right now. What Vergil Ortiz said, oh, we're going to fight, but it's going to be like when we're up here. So he's never shown optimism in facing Boots. That situation right there where it looked like Boots was ducking, not looked, but, you know, the people was perceiving it as a duck for some reason when I told y'all it wasn't a duck at all. Vergil Ortiz was riding that wave. He was like, oh, man, you know, it is what it is. Like, he didn't even stand up and be like, yo, look, Boots not even in the same division as me. You know, it's not really a duck. You feel what I'm saying? Like, he got things to do in his division, and then when he come up here, then we could talk about fighting. No, he was letting y'all ride with that narrative. He was letting y'all ride with that narrative, dog. He was letting y'all ride with that narrative. So, you know what I'm saying? Now we need to get on this new narrative. You don't want to fight Boots, nigga. You don't. Because as soon as they start coming around saying that they going to 54, first thing they do is, yo, you want to fight Vergil? Yeah, we'll fight Vergil. We'll fight Vergil at our first fight at junior middleweight. Vergil, like, oh, no, I ain't available in August, man. Fuck. That's plenty of time, but, you know what I mean? There ain't enough time for Boots. So there you go. I needed to address that because it goes to show how hypocritical this boxing media is for trying to put Boots, you know, feet to the fire and not doing the same for Vergil. Y'all was cooking Boots for that situation. Now the tables turned and nobody want to talk about Vergil ducking Boots. Why is that? Full of shit, man. Full of shit. What you mean English or Spanish? You can't hear it? What you mean? You deaf? I got deaf people in my family. I can translate for you, Shantia. English or Spanish. Open your fucking ears. That'll answer your question for you. No, I ain't falling for a motherfucking thing. Boots didn't confirm 154 yet. But we've had multiple media outlets that close to Boots, like YSM Sports Media, confirm it. But it's looking like it's certain, but they're going to finalize it at the end of this week. I think, considering how much weight Boots done put on, I think he's making that transition, y'all. I don't think he's going to put on as much weight. This looks like the heaviest he's been in I don't know how long. I don't think he will put on that much weight knowing he got to cut back down to 47. It's almost like he's trying to get to a weight where a 47 cut wouldn't even be an option. Boots did say, don't listen to no one but me, yeah. And I said that in the very beginning, but like I said, I've talked to people who've had conversations with Boots, and they're confirming to move up to 54. So he might have not spoken about it publicly, but behind closed doors, I'm sure Boots is speaking of a 154 move up. So, and I trust my guys. You feel me? Jamil Parker ain't never lied on nobody's name as long as he's been a media reporter. All his information has been on point thus far. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm not ever gonna say that he lying or he don't know what he talking about. He know what he talking about. But yeah, we will see. You know what I mean? So speaking of the welterweight division, Brian Norman got a fight coming up against Jin Sasaki. You know, I believe it's going on June 19th. You know what I mean? In Japan, Juneteenth, you know, it's going down. And I told y'all guys, for y'all motherfuckers that condone this no running rule where y'all trying to get rid of styles because y'all enabling fighters to be lazy and limited and making it okay for motherfuckers to not make adjustments. Y'all should watch Brian Norman versus Jin Sasaki because that's going to be a shootout. You feel what I'm saying? So he's over here. He's doing his media obligations. He does an interview with Fight Hype, and they ask him about Boots possibly moving up to 154. And this is Brian Norman's thoughts on the whole situation. You know, he definitely got some type of animosity towards Eddie Hearn. You could tell. You know, I guess Eddie Hearn left a bad taste in their mouth. Pause. Since the first negotiation they had attempting to get Brian Norman to come to the Wells Fargo to unify against Boots. He always makes it seem like Eddie Hearn is like a trash businessman and shit like that. But whatever the case is, man, this is his thoughts on Jaron Ennis moving up to 154 pounds.
Trying to put out was that I'm a duck and you like first, like you said. You know, I guess I'm trying to look at the narrative. I say the narrative that Eddie Hearn was trying to put out was that I'm a duck and you fighting up before. Yeah, as long as everything goes well. The need to, I guess, potentially move to 154 right away. Does that make sense? Like, I guess did he kind of plan maybe the idea that you weren't going to take the fight without getting past this fight first, like you said? You know, I guess I'm trying to look at the narrative. I say the narrative that
hold on, yo, my fault.
I don't say it as a missed opportunity.
And you think that you guys would have been able to give a great fight, or do you see yourself maybe later down the line if he does move up?
I wish him the best at 154. I'm start off saying I wish him the best at 154. I hope he continue being great doing his thing. But regarding the missed opportunity thing, I don't see it as a missed opportunity.
That's definitely a missed opportunity, Brian. That's definitely a missed opportunity. You had a career high payday in front of you, unification. You know what I mean? A fight that if you came out successful against Jaron Ennis would have took your stock to a whole different dimension. Jaron Ennis was the most popular, the number one guy in the welterweight division. With him moving up, that's an opportunity that you missed out on. You feel what I'm saying? Can this opportunity arise, you know, again? Yes. But that's going to have to incorporate you going up to 54 and getting another title. And considering how steep that division is, I don't think Brian Norman gets a title at 154. In the current climate of 154 pounds, I don't think Brian Norman beats anybody that has a world title over there at that moment. I don't think he beats a Sebastian Fundora. I think Sebastian Fundora is, you know, significantly bigger. I think he's going to apply pressure that Brian Norman has never seen before in his career. And, you know, these guys are more durable. So even though Brian Norman is a bigger puncher, these guys are, you know, better at taking punches. You know, the bigger these guys are, the better their punch resistance is. So this is going to be a totally different ball game. I don't think Brian Norman beats Vergil Ortiz, to be honest with you. I don't think he beats can you imagine him and Bohachuk? You know, if you know Israel Madrimov is on his game, I don't think he beats the Israel Madrimov. I don't think he beats the Jamel Charlo since he's coming back into the division. Jesus Ramos, I don't think he beats anybody up there. Anybody significant in the 154-pound division, I don't see him doing anything with. You know, he wouldn't even be the best 154 in his promotional stable. I don't think he beats Xander Zayas either. Like, just keeping it real. I'm not even trying to hate or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? And listen, these and then I see Sean Terrence talk about Norman still be in the comments acting like they wanted to fight Boots. Yeah, of course they want to spin that narrative because they don't want their reputation to, you know, be on a decline and they don't want to be known as Ducks, even though they've shown it on multiple occasions. They don't want to let it be known. They trying to, it's like Jaron Ennis got that Debo effect on him. You know what I mean? Remember when Smokey was like, oh, when he around, I'll be quiet, but when he leave, I'll be talking again, like that type shit. You feel what I'm saying? Like they be popping that shit. You know what I'm saying? When Boots ain't around, but when Boots try to come to the negotiation table to make a fight happen, all of a sudden, you know what I mean? They sitting around, not really wanting to be on shit. So we've seen that historically happen. They didn't want to fight at all, and that's just the reality of the situation. You know what I mean? Y'all made every excuse in the book. Just like Teofimo Lopez made all them excuses not to fight Devin Haney. I'm not selling my soul for 11 million. Oh, Turkey El Sheikh, he's Muslim, and Devin Haney's a Muslim. I don't want to fight in a Muslim country. And he's saying, oh, Turkey El Sheikh didn't offer me the money that was, told that I was going to get in the second fight. He's came up with every excuse possible not to fight Devin. Not to fight Devin Haney. And Brian Norman was like, oh yeah, we want to at least take home $1 million when it's all said and done. We don't want to fight in Philly. So this is the same dude that was like, oh, that we would have took this money. So he was going around saying, we want to at least take home $1 million when it's all said and done, right? Because after they do the taxes and all that shit, if he would have got 1.7 million or whatever, he probably would have came home with 900,000, right? Cool. So he said he wants to come home with at least $1 million. He making it seem like that's the reason why, but said he would accept that same money anywhere else that wasn't Philadelphia. So you bitch about the location, you bitch about the bread, they looking for every excuse possible to make motherfuckers walk away from the negotiation table. This is the new tactic that goes on nowadays. You feel what I'm saying? So I didn't even let Brian Norman get his words off though. My fault. Let me hear what he got to say. But he said that's not an opportunity that was left behind. It was an opportunity that you left behind. And that just goes to show you how much he don't want to fight Jaron Ennis, because if he really wanted to fight him, he would understand that was a missed opportunity. The fact that he doesn't look at it as a missed opportunity means it wasn't an opportunity he was exploring in the first place. Let's just keep it real. His father always says that B. Norman is young. All right, so that's just his way of saying he's not ready to cash his boy out yet. He's doing what fathers do. He protecting their sons. Fathers know when their sons are in danger or could possibly be in danger, and they also know, being his trainer, he knows what his son can and can't handle. His son can't handle no fucking Jaron Ennis. He can't. He's seen it in the sparring sessions. You think he want that to go into a real fight? He's seen what Boots done did to him with 16-ounce gloves on and headgear. You think that he wants Boots and his son to get in the ring with 8-ounce gloves on when we seen this nigga get put on his ass against Boca Chica and shit like that? Nah, man. Don't nobody know his son. Don't nobody know Brian Norman Jr. more than Brian Norman Sr. So he's saving his son for real, but they don't want to look pussy in the midst of doing that. So they coming up with every excuse in the book. This is shit that we do know. But anyways, let's get into the rest of this audio from Brian Norman Jr.
Eventually, I'm pretty sure I'm young right now. I'm pretty sure
I'm young.
154 and start making those up there as well. So if he keep doing his thing at 54, we can still make that fight happen. But I will say, I do find it slightly funny that, Eddie Hearn publicly said we can make a fight happen after this fight, but we can only sign a contract before this fight is done with.
He wanted you to sign the contract beforehand because he knows that when you guys don't have shit going on, that y'all gonna find a way to explore another opportunity. That's exactly why. He telling you, yo, sign this shit right now. So when the fuck you don't have when this fight is over with, you're not exploring other opportunities. Eddie Hearn don't trust y'all. He knew that y'all was looking for another way out. So while y'all in the midst of taking care of a fight, he wants y'all to sign he wants y'all to sign a deal saying that y'all gonna commit to this fight next, because he know that if y'all don't have no type of obligations contractually to fight this man next, while you don't have a fight date lined up, you will go in another direction because you don't want to fight that man. So that was Eddie Hearn putting pressure on you. That was Eddie Hearn putting pressure on you to try to commit to the fight. Y'all never wanted to commit to the fight. Y'all saying, oh, I don't want to commit to a fight until I'm done with this fight. You've historically shown that when you don't have a fight date and Jaron Ennis is on the table, y'all trying to go in a different direction. Brian Norman was talking about fighting fucking Manny Pacquiao and shit like. You was just talking about fighting Manny Pacquiao and shit like that. You would have much rather have fought a 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao. That's what you said. That's what you said. How the fuck they supposed to trust you? So Eddie Hearn, he put what he did was he pulled your card, and that's why you don't like him. I don't fuck with Eddie Hearn either. Truth be told, I don't like a lot of promoters. I feel like a lot of them full of shit. You know, Eddie Hearn has shown to be full of shit before. I'm just starting to come around to actually fuck with Eddie Hearn because when he first came on the scene, especially in the U.S., I really wasn't fucking with him with that whole Anthony Joshua and Wilder shit. But you know, you forget, you don't forget, but you forgive, and you know you move on with shit. You feel what I mean? And Eddie Hearn has been doing a lot of good for U.S. fighters, whether you know we dislike him or not. So he pulled your card because he knew you was pussy. He knew that you don't want to fight Jaron Ennis. So he put this out there. He was like, all right, just so we're confident and we give Boots a reason to stick around at 147 pounds, let's sign this deal now. And this has been done multiple times. So they acting like this is some shit that's unordinary. There's been plenty of times where fighters have signed contracts while they were while they was getting ready for a fight just so they could secure that fight next, and nobody else got to look in different places or whatever the case is. Commit to this fight with Jaron Ennis. So Jaron Ennis has a reason to stick around at 47. You get rid of Jin Sasaki. You and Boots next unification fight, and all the other shit could be sorted out. You feel what I'm saying? So he wanted to see like how bad you really want this fight. Oh no, I'm not committing to anything until I'm done this Jin Sasaki fight. Oh, I ain't commit. No, you didn't. You wasn't gonna commit in the first place, and you're trying to use this Jin Sasaki fight as some time to keep them niggas up off your ass. Pause. To be honest with you, but we all know what would have happened. You know what I mean? If Boots would have stuck around, he would have seen that you really don't want to fight him. You fuck around and you probably would have tried to chase the Mario Barrios Manny Pacquiao winner, and you'd have left Boots stuck with no type of plans. So Boots is like, all right, y'all ain't want to sit back and wait for me. Why the fuck would I sit here and wait for y'all? Brian Norman and Brian Jr. and Senior, they were saying, oh, we open to the fight, but we're not gonna wait for anybody. Okay. So now you're upset because he's moving up to 54 while you getting ready for Jin Sasaki. If you're not willing to wait for him, why the fuck would he wait for you? What if he lose to Jin? Oh, well, it is what it is. It is what it is. But the whole thing is, y'all came out publicly and said on multiple occasions, y'all not going to sit around and wait for Boots. That's why y'all took the Jin Sasaki fight, because we not sitting around and waiting for nobody. Okay. Well, he not going to wait for you neither. You missed out on a big opportunity to make your biggest purse of your career thus far, but your fear of losing and getting, brutally beat overrode all of that. Just it wasn't worth it to y'all. So it is what it is.
So if I'm not mistaken, that means we was going to fight after this one. Why you had to make an announcement about him moving up on my fight week?
So we have to wait until. So Eddie Hearn and Jaron Ennis have to wait until your fight is over to announce a move up to 154. Bro, they can announce that shit whenever the fuck they want. You feel what I'm saying? Why the fuck did you feel the need to fight Jin Sasaki when Boots was getting ready for? Why did you feel the need to sign a fight with Jin Sasaki when Boots was in the middle of a Stanionis fight? Why is that? Why did you feel the need to secure a fight with Jin Sasaki while Boots was getting ready for Adonta Stanionis? Why you felt the need to do that? Since we out here just asking questions. The fuck? Why you feel the way that he announced in the 154 move up? Dumb as hell. Hold on real quick. Shout out to my boy Twin Lamar with the $5 super chat. He says, man, the Normans are flat out ducks. I bet they would have accepted the $1.7 million offer if it was offered to fight Barrios in Barrios' hometown, though. Absolutely, man. That's a beautiful comment right there. Shout out to the boy Twin Lamar. You got a great point, brother. I don't think they try to make it seem like it was about the money, but in reality, it was about the opponent. They knew that they was outmatched. They knew the guy real well. They knew what Boots was capable of, and they didn't want any of that this early on in their career. That's why they keep referring to their age and shit like that. You feel what I'm saying? If you truly feel like you're ready, your age would never play a factor. You don't hear Abdullah Mason turning down a Sam Noakes fight because he's 20 years old. Like, do we hear Abdullah Mason saying, "Oh man, you know, we ain't running from Sam Noakes, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm 21 years old. You know what I mean? You know, I'm young." No, you won't hear that. Abdullah Mason is saying, "Let's get this shit popping. It's official. Let's have it next. Let's do it." Like that. That's what's being told. That's what's being told. You feel me? Like it's not. It's clear to see. It's clear to see, y'all. I'm sorry. It's clear to see. That motherfucking Pedialyte good than a bitch. What's going on? Why is we talking about Gervonta Davis's cat? Like, who gives a fuck? What is we talking about? Nah, Ralph, he don't feel a way about Boots moving up. Truth be told, he may be happy that Boots is moving up. He feels a way that Boots is deciding to make a 154 announcement on the week of his fight with Jin Sasaki. Like, what? Who get like why does that bother you? Why does that bother you? Because he's making moves while you in the midst of getting ready for a fight. You literally, when did they announce Norman and Jin Sasaki? Can somebody look that up for me, please? Hold on, let me look that up. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. April 23rd. Hold on. April 23rd. Yeah, so they started announcing that shit April 23rd. And he fought Stanionis June 12th. So 11 days after Jaron Ennis's fight. And let's keep it real. That shit was already set in stone before that shit. You feel what I mean? I like I said, I always thought when Jin Sasaki came up with that paper and was reading in English like a dickhead, you know, that shit was all rehearsed. You know what I mean? That shit was already something that was solidified. They just wanted to put that out publicly to get the fans' attention. You feel what I mean? So they announced it April 23rd. Boots fought Stanionis on April 12th. Not even 2 weeks after the fight, you go ahead and you announcing fights with other people when you could have just reached out to Boots' team to try to make a fight happen. Y'all decided to go down another route. You feel what I'm saying? I understand that Boots is the A side and he has to be the one to send the offers, but you could have easily, as the B side fighter, attempted to initiate the negotiation. You could have attempted to initiate, you know, working something out. You could have reached out first, and then Boots and them could have been like, all right, you know what I mean? Let's do this, let's do that. You ain't want to do that. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, cut the bullshit, man. You know what I mean? Fuck Tank Cat, nigga. Punk ass cat. My cat will beat Tank Cat the fuck up. Shout out to my boy Symbol. Let's go, champ. Fuck is we even talking about?
What do you think would have happened if you did sign? You think they would have actually took the fight? Because it seems like there was a rush to make the fight, and you waited. You asked for essentially to start the negotiations, you know, the day after the fight, as long as everything goes well. The need to, I guess, potentially move to 154 right away. Does that make sense? Like, I guess did he kind of plan maybe the idea that you weren't going to take the fight without getting past this fight first, like you said? You know, I guess I'm trying to look at the narrative. I'd say the narrative that Eddie Hearn was trying to put out was that I'm a duck, and we all know about that. He was trying to, you know, push that propaganda, that agenda so heavily and so strongly. And like you just said, a whole missed up.
Eddie Hearn's not trying to push any propaganda that you're a duck. Your actions push that fucking narrative that you're a duck. Your way of getting out of that fight made you look like a duck. There was no narrative that was pushed on Eddie Hearn's behalf in this situation. Eddie Hearn was trying to solidify the fight with you and Jaron Ennis. Your actions made people say that you're a duck. You feel what I'm saying? There was no narrative pushed by Eddie Hearn in this situation. I'm sure he's done it on multiple occasions. This one right here, your actions permitted people to call you a duck. Not Eddie Hearn pushing any type of narratives or propaganda, anything like that. So let's cut the shit. You feel me? Shout out to my boy. Hold on. I can't see it. I can't see it. Where is it at? Why is it not popping up right here? Oh, okay. Shout out to my boy. Shout out to my boy Twin Lumar with another $5 super chat. He goes and he says, and I can guarantee Norman and Sasaki been in talks before the Cuevas fight because ain't no way Sasaki flew 7,000 miles just to beg for a fight. That's another great point. I told y'all that shit was all rehearsed. You feel what I'm saying? That was just something that was put out there just to get the people talking. You feel what I'm saying? That's all that was. Nobody, like you said, I'm not flying 7,000 miles with nothing that's not guaranteed. I'm not gonna fly out 7,000 miles to a fight just to beg a motherfucker for a fight. No, is this shit solidified? This is what we doing? If this is what we doing, then okay, I'm willing to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he was reading a paper in English when he don't speak English. Brian Norman's sitting there like, yep, finish your lines, nigga. Yep, finish your lines. Okay, you done? All right, yeah. All right, man, let's make a fight happen. Now you get all oh man, just Sasaki pulls up on Brian Norman, and then that gets the people like, yo, that boy just Sasaki want that smoke, man. What Brian Norman gonna do? And somehow, some way, they use that as a way to put Boots to the side real quick. You feel what I mean? But motherfuckers who actually stay up on the sport and know what the fuck going on, we know that you did that just to get people to ignore or put Boots to the side for a little bit. You try to stir some shit up on this side so everybody can stop paying attention over on this side. Stop it with the bullshit. Shout out to Twin Lumar with these couple super chats he put out there, man. He definitely talking that talk. You feel me? Salute. Let me finish off with Brian Norman saying.
Opportunity. So it was just trying to push that whole narrative so he can smoothly escape to the 154 division. But what would have happened if I
what? Hold on, let me put this back a little bit.
So it was just trying to push that whole narrative so he can smoothly escape. We all know about that. He was trying to, push that propaganda, that agenda so heavily and so strongly. And like you just said, a whole missed opportunity. So it was just trying to push that whole narrative so he can smoothly escape to the 154 division. But what would have happened if I signed a contract? Who knows? I can't go off something that's not going to happen.
If you would have signed that contract, y'all be fighting, nigga. Fuck you mean, who knows? If they send you a contract and Boo signs his end and you sign your end and you defeat Jin Sasaki, guess what? Nigga, contractually, y'all obligated to fight each other. So they would, y'all, what you mean, who knows what would have happened? You would have been fighting Boost next, nigga. Like, the fuck? What is we even talking about, guys? Like, you just say what it is. You didn't want to fight Jaron Ennis. Swallow your pride. You know what I mean? Like, just say what it was. You not ready for Boost at this time. You don't like that fight right now. You need a little bit more time to develop and mature as a champion. Just say that. You young. You don't want to be thrown to the wolves this early in your career. You'll still be looked at as a duck, but at least people will respect you for keeping it real. It's when y'all motherfuckers be trying to act tough and be acting like y'all be with the shits that y'all, and reality is y'all not with the shits. You feel me? Like, just cut it the fuck out. So he also says that, they try to they try to get him to sign a fight, while he had a fight going on with Jin Sasaki, you know what I mean? Just to make it seem like I was a duck if I said no, and they could smoothly transition to 154. Bro, they could have easily, they could have on some real shit, I'm gonna tell you this. They could have transitioned to 154 smoothly, regardless of whether they try to get you to sign a deal while you was with Jin Sasaki or not, because what doesn't change is that they came to the table with you previously. You know what I mean? They came to the table with you previously to try to get a fight happening way before the Imanta Stanionis fight. They sat down with you, they offered you, after y'all did several counter offers, they left you with a $1.7 million payday. At 21 years old, you keep bringing up this you young shit. Okay, so if you lose early on in your career, being 24 years old, you're capable of bouncing back. Y'all scared money. That's why y'all walked away from that shit. Y'all ended up fighting Derek Cuevas on a fucking undercard. Was it a female? I think it was a female undercard, bro. You was fighting on a female undercard. What the fuck is we even talking about? What is we even talking about? You fought on Michaela Mayer undercard, didn't you? This is what happens when you let motherfucker and Brian Norman Senior wants you to believe that he's this fucking shrewd businessman. Oh, he's such a big businessman. Oh my god, a fucking world champion fighting on a female fighter's undercard, bro. Absolutely embarrassing. You did more rounds than them. You fought you fought 3-minute rounds, they fought 2-minute rounds, and they put you beneath them. They put you beneath them. When you could have headlined at the Wells Fargo. And I'm sure they probably would have put up the Ring Magazine belt for that fight. You would have had your WBO title and the fucking IBF title all on the line simultaneously. Winner takes all. And you chose not to do that. So Boots could have made the smooth transition to 154 regardless because he sent you an offer. You didn't accept it. You sent multiple counter offers. They gave you a career high payday that you're not gonna see at the welterweight division. You're not gonna see that anywhere else besides with Jaron Ennis. You feel me? You turned that down so Boots could walk away from the situation knowing that he tried. Motherfucker not losing sleep at night. I promise you he ain't. If anything, it's you because you know you missed out on a big opportunity. Then you sitting here in this interview talking about, oh, I don't think I missed out on any opportunity. Bullshit, nigga. Bullshit. Show me where you gonna make $1.7 million in the welterweight division right now. Show me. You ain't making that with Jen. That yen ain't gonna add up to no 1.7 million. I promise you that. I promise you that. You not making that. So miss me with the bullshit, bro. Motherfucker just want to throw everything on Eddie Hearn. Don't get it wrong. No, don't get it wrong. These promoters be full of shit sometimes, and they be, they be pushing bullshit narratives, and not this time. Not this time. And I rarely defend the promoter. I'm fighter first 99.9% of the time. This 0.01% right here, I'm rocking with the promoter here. I'm sorry. Shout out to Twin Lumar again. God damn, this boy snapping in the chat. He puts out a nice 10-piece. He said, Sasaki never fought in the U.S. before. That boy needed a whole passport to get here. There ain't no shit that just happened out the blue. That's a whole process in itself. You fucking right. You fucking right. We seeing eye to eye on this, brother. Shout out to Twin. This guy, he thinking logically. He thinking like, he thinking like a real man should. You feel me? Not like these feminine ass boxer fans that be walking around wearing taco hats and that type shit. No, he thinking logically. He putting two together, and he can recognize the bullshit when he see it. Shout out to the boy Twin Bar in the motherfucking building talking that talk. You feel what I'm saying? Shout out to bullies in the building. What's going on? Reform, what up? You know what I mean? He said he want the Dev or Tio fight. I mean, listen, that's a fight those are fights that are realistic. You know what I mean? And I seen Devin Haney speaking on Brian Norman. He said Brian Norman ass. So that might be a fight that may actually happen as well. And I think Brian Norman was on that hit list that Bill Haney put together. You feel me? Let me get my charger real quick. I don't want my phone to die while we live. You feel me? I don't need my phone to die while we live. Where we at? Where is my charger? I don't think that's it. I'll be right back. All right, we back. We back. Let's get this shit back on the road, baby. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. Let's check these comments out because I've been popping my shit since I've been on here. He said somebody ate that shit. That's crazy. Nah, he ain't stupid. I'll beat his motherfucking ass. No cap in my rap. You feel me? Let me see. It said, bro, some channels are reporting Boots turned Devin down. Have you heard anything? You know what's so funny? I just seen Bill Haney do an interview with Champside today, and he admitted that Boots would not be a first fight for Devin Haney at 147 pounds. So with Bill saying this, who's the head of Devin Haney Promotions, who's Devin Haney's manager, all that good shit, if he's out there saying that, so how could it possibly be that Boots turned down a fight with Devin Haney? Go check out Champside's interview with Bill Haney that he put out today. Great interview by Champside. Shout out to him for keeping us informed of what's going on in the boxing world. He asked Bill, is that a fight that you guys will pursue next at 147 pounds? Bill Haney kept it real. He said, no, that's not like a first fight that we will take at 147 pounds. You know what I'm saying? But he's like, he pretty much said further down the line, you know what I mean? He would like to get this money with them. Cool. I respect that answer more than a Brian Norman ass nigga who's sitting around talking about, yeah, we want that fight, but we ain't gonna wait for it. Yeah, we want that fight, but we ain't gonna wait for it, man. Eddie Hearn just trying to push it. I'm a duck, so they could just move up to 54 all smooth. Man. No. Bill Haney literally said the shit. So if Bill Haney says that's not a fight that they will pursue first in the welterweight division, how the fuck did Boots turn down a fight with Devin Haney when Bill Haney even said that they would even fight them debuting at welterweight? How the fuck that even makes sense? This is why I don't respect these media dudes, bro. And this is why y'all make it so hard for real channels like me and a few others to get interviews with these fighters, because what y'all do is y'all give us a bad rap. Even if we don't push the same shit as y'all, even if we don't say the same shit that y'all do, you know, we remain objective while y'all remain biased. This is why fighters have a hard time, you know, building relationships with, you know, certain YouTube channels or certain media outlets, because y'all push bullshit narratives. Y'all blatantly lie for clicks. And y'all fuck shit up for us, bro. Like, that's just the reality, bro. Like, I'm gonna tell y'all this. I was setting up an interview with Jermaine Ortiz, bro. I was like this close to solidifying an interview with Jermaine Ortiz, but I had to reach out to his promoter first. And his promoter was like, what's your channel name? I told him my channel name. He was like, okay, I just got to make sure you're not one of these channels that, you know, that lies on fighters, because, you know, we see that a lot. Straight up, I can show you if I wasn't streaming through my phone right now, I could show you those texts. And I'm like, I can reassure you that I ain't one of those channels. You feel me? He's like, all right, I'll get right back to you. Never got back to me. And I've never spoke bad on Jermaine Ortiz. Never. But that's the perception that promoters and fighters have about channels, because they go through social media. They go through their social media and see motherfuckers lying on them. And motherfuckers don't really care to know the truth because the lie is more entertaining. So they're like, damn, these niggas openly lying on me. This shit ain't true. Like, this ain't that ain't what it is for real. Now, when they come out and speak out against it, people don't really give, like I said, don't really give a fuck to hear their truth, because the lie is more entertaining to them. And these YouTubers know that, and that's why they push them type of videos so they could get a check for monetary gain. Yeah, Jack Queen, they should check to see if you a friend or foe. But I was never a foe of Jermaine Ortiz. We got somebody in the channel, Slime, who's from the same city as Jermaine Ortiz. He can tell you, I don't be talking crazy about no Jermaine Ortiz. We might have conversations where I feel like, you know, this fighter could beat Jermaine Ortiz, but that's just an opinion. That's not me shitting on Jermaine at all. You say you can imagine an interview with me and Tank. That shit would not go well. I promise you, that would not go well. he would never do an interview with me. Him or any of his peoples. And I was like this close to doing an interview with Coach Calvin too. I was gonna go to Upton. I was gonna go to Upton to do an interview with him. But I don't think that interview would go well neither. To be honest with you, because Tank, Calvin is like Tank's son. So even if he know his son in the wrong, he would never go against his son. You feel me? So like that'll just be like that'll be like a that'll be a tense interview. I ain't gonna lie to you, because I'm not gonna sit here and act like how the way Tank is moving is right. I'm gonna ask tough questions, and tough questions seem to ruffle feathers. They do. You think Tank know who I am? I don't think he know who I am. I don't think he know who I am at all. I don't think he be tuned in like that. You know what I mean? I don't think he be tuned into the boxing world like that. I think that nigga really be in his own bubble. You could just sense that Tank like disconnected at times. Like they'd be like, "Oh, what you think about this fight? Who? Oh, who? I felt what? Who's that? Who's that? Like, how the fuck Tank don't know who this is? I feel as though I feel as though he's a good fighter. Yeah, he's a good fighter. Yeah, just be sitting there just stuck. Nigga brain just be buffering the whole interview. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like he be so disconnected, like he don't know. He don't know who Mazuma TV is. Nigga brain be having like the spinning symbol when they ask him certain questions. I feel as though for sure I feel as though I feel as though it is what it is. You never know. Bill show out of nowhere before. Well, Bill, he don't be hiding. That's the thing about him. Like he'll see anything that include his son name and tune in. You know what I mean? He cares about what the people saying. You know what I mean? I don't think Tank really cared. I don't think Coffee from Philly, man. Shout out to Coffee though. 88 Sports Talk, what up? That's the thing, Karma. I really don't care whether I get an interview or not. That's just being honest. I don't really care to interview anybody that I'm not a fan of. Like, to be real with you, there's only a few people that I would honestly like push the interview. Like, I would like to, when it's all said and done, a Devin Haney interview will be cool. Benavidez, Bam. The Boots one I could go get whenever I want, bro, but I just be on. Our schedules don't meet up, bro. It just don't. You know what I mean? Being a father, having a job, and fucking being being at the gym all the time, that's gonna be tough to get around. You feel me? And the time that Boots train, I'll be at work. You feel me? And on my days off, I'm usually spending time with my son. That'll be a lot. But Boots, Benavidez, Bam, and probably a Dev. I think that's it. And if I could interview a few legends, it'd probably be Andre Ward. Probably Andre Ward. That's it. Or if I could get a Lennox Lewis, oh man. I would have loved to interview George Foreman too. Rest in peace to George Foreman, man. And Felix Trinidad, my favorite fighter of all time. I'm about to push to see if I could get that shit. Is there any way that I could get a Felix Trinidad interview knowing who I know? I know somebody who's actually his translator when he comes to the U.S. I think I could do it. I think I could get a Felix Trinidad interview. Earl Spence, I would like to I would interview Earl. Definitely. I've always been a fan of Earl. I would interview Bud, but I feel like Bud don't really be having rap for niggas. Like, I don't think he would. I don't know. I did some solid Jones though, bro. You know what I mean? I would like to get a better Rolly interview because I feel like most of that time we was just bidding and shit. We was just chopping it up like we was having a regular phone conversation. I don't know. Legends though, Andre Ward, Lennox Lewis. I would love to do those interviews. Nigga said interview slime. Would you go on Mill City? Yeah, I would. I want to box Mill City. You know what I mean? I would like to box Mill City. I see that he getting back in the gym and he training and shit. I would like to box Mill City. He said, yo, Mazuma, read Karma's comment. Hit Emily on Twitter. Benavidez will do the interview if he has the time. Who's Emily, Karma? Could you set that up for me, Karma? Do you know Emily? Who is that? Is this possible? Can Karma set up the interview with David Benavidez? Let me know. Let me know. Let me find, man, if I get that Benavidez interview, cuz, oh my God. That's what, y'all know that's my favorite fighter. Him, Boost, and Bam, y'all know that's my favorite fighter. If we could get that sigil, oh man, I might go crazy in this motherfucker. I might lose my religion. If we able to get this David Benavidez interview, that would be fire, nigga. Oh my God. Oh, bro, I'm telling you. Karma, DM me, please. Thank you, Karma. Thank you. Please let me know. Please let me know. Because Karma got a lot of influence on Twitter. They fuck with her on Twitter. You feel what I'm saying? If we can make this David Benavidez interview happen, let's do it, bro. I gotta get Bam too. But these motherfuckers be bougie, man. I don't know. Like, they just got a lot of followers. So I'm sure like my DMs be getting lost and they message requests and shit like that and stuff like that. But it be the women that really be knowing the right people because shout out to Michelle Rosado, Raging Big. She the one who got me the interview with Bomac. Cause I was trying to get the Bomac interview for a minute, bro. I'm like, bro, I fuck with Bomac. I'm trying to get this shit going. Man. And she made it happen like this. And Bomac was like, man, you got my personal number, man. Don't be fucking getting my number. I'm like, yo, Bo, chill. Chill, cuz. I ain't one of those. I was like, bro, you won't hear from me again. And I think I congratulated Bomac, I think after the Earl Spence fight. Was it the Earl? No. I interviewed him after the Earl fight. It was one fight that he had that he was training somebody, and I congratulated him for it. And that was it. He said thank you, and I just went about my day. No, it was when man, I don't know. I gotta check. But if there's any way we can make this David Benavidez interview happen, bro, I'll be ecstatic. But you know what's crazy? My father got his father number. Now that I think about it, my father got Jose Benavidez Sr. number. Would you do a live interview with David like how he did with Najee? What you mean? Well, like face-to-face interview? We not in the same location, so I doubt it. Like I'm in Philly, he in Miami. So I don't know. I don't know if we could do a live interview face-to-face. Najee be traveling to motherfuckers, and I ain't got time for all that, bro. I got a kid. You feel me? But my dad got Jose Benavidez's number. Like, bring him on the stream. Oh, yeah, we could definitely do that. I might pay for StreamYard just to make that happen. I might, whatever the fuck they need, bro. Like, I'm doing it. Like, we getting to it. I'm a really do hella research on Benavidez to ask him questions that he ain't never. I'm trying to tell you, when I'm well prepped for an interview, there ain't many people fucking with me, bro. Like sometimes I just like the freestyle shit. You know what I mean? And fucking, just chop it up, have fluid conversation. I'm gonna be well prepared for that. I'm gonna be well prepared for that interview. And y'all gonna see why exactly. I'm gonna show these networks exactly why I need to be commentating on their channel. Because that's the end goal. You feel me? That's the end goal. Y'all giving Antonio Tarver opportunities. Y'all giving Sergio Mora opportunities. Ain't neither one of them a better commentator than me. Neither one of them well spoken like me. They've done more in boxing than me, sure. But they cannot talk boxing like me. None of them. I don't care how they could have won 50 world titles. They don't talk boxing like me. When I really get in that zone, they cannot fuck with me. Steven Jackson. Oh, yeah, y'all gave Steven Jackson. Yo, y'all let Steven Jackson commentate the prelims on Showtime. I would have loved it. And I would have did it for free. I would have flown myself out. See, I'm not one of them, bro. Like, I'm not one of them dudes who, you know, like need people to get a hotel for them or need to get, bro. I'm doing very well for myself, bro. Like, I don't need nobody to take care of me or nothing like that. Like, before Derek James showed to be a coon ass nigga, I reached out to Derek James and was like, yo, is there any way that I could, shadow like a training camp or something like that? You ain't gotta worry about, like, I had my own crib, I had my own whip, all that. He like, oh, such as a private man, sorry. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, all right. You feel me? You can't really get mad, you know what I mean? As long as you ask, you never know, you feel me? But shout out to G-Bo. What up? I need that David Benavidez interview. Karma, you got to make it happen, baby. Make it happen. You feel me? Shout out to Agent 86. He said, Mark just need the platform. That's it. That's all I asked for. And y'all ain't got to compensate me for it or nothing. Just let me, bro, give me an opportunity to showcase my ability to talk boxing, call it like I see it. And if y'all want to sit down and, talk about something, then we can talk about something. Coach James is not a coon, right? Oh, really? Really, Karma? So, Karma, you answer this. If he's not a coon, why did he continue training Ryan Garcia after that racist rant he made, Karma? Please, yeah, you definitely need to elaborate on that. Yeah, everybody coming at Karma. Why is that? And he don't really stand for shit, to be honest with you, because Alicia Bumgarner test positive. He had two months. He had one. Alicia Bumgarner came into his camp fresh off a PED scandal. He take her in. And then, a training camp he did with Ryan Garcia, he test positive. So he not against PED, so he a fucking sellout. He don't stand for the integrity of the sport. And he fucking willingly welcomed the fighter back in after making a racist rant about his own people. So if he's not a coon, what is he? Is he just understanding? Is he just very forgiving? What is it? Because there's some shit, in my opinion, and everybody got their own right to go about their life how they want to, but there's some things that are unforgivable, in my opinion. There's just certain things you cannot say. The black fighter didn't even give him all his bread. He got billed. He got fucked over in this situation, Karma. There ain't no doubt. And like I said, I was one of very few people on here that said that I hope that Derek James get every dollar he deserves. Because a deal is a deal. If he was supposed to get 10% of Earl Spencer's earnings for a fight, then he needs to get that 10%. However, that does not change the fact that he took a fighter in Ryan Garcia who went on later to disrespect black people and then say he's a part of a domestic terrorist organization that was known for killing black people, expressing his deep hatred for black people, and then returning to his stable for his following fight. A black fighter not paying him does not mean that he should take in blatantly open racists into his camp to continue training them for a check. That don't correlate to me. If you got fucked over by a black fighter, you know that's fucked up, and I'm sorry to hear that. However, just because you got fucked over by a black fighter doesn't mean you should be taking in an open racist to do business with. That don't make sense to me. That's just me though. You feel me? Like I said, Earl Spence was dead wrong for that. And I don't even know where that situation went. I don't know if they still handling that or whatever the case is. I hope, like I said, I hope Derrick James get every dollar because as a trainer, I know what it's like to get fucked over. And I've always said trainers are the most vulnerable people in the sport of boxing. They're the ones that get fucked over the most and nobody cares. They're the most underappreciated people in boxing. They probably have the biggest job in the sport of boxing. And they're the least appreciated out of all of them. Earl paid him, I'm pretty sure. No, he didn't. That's why they went to court. And like I said, I don't know if they settled. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's still ongoing. But like Karma, you got to understand. You know what I'm talking about, Karma. You know what I mean? You probably just backing them because that's somebody you like. But you know Derrick James dead wrong for that. It is a thankless job. That's why you got to have fighters that truly appreciate you. You feel me? You got to have fighters that truly appreciate you, and you got to. And I've heard people say that they all the same and stuff like that, but there's some fighters that's loyal to the soil, man. Shout out to them for that. He said, fuck Derrick James. I hope Earl ain't pay him. Nah, man, an agreement is an agreement. Even if he a coon, bro. Like, even if he a coon, like if me and you, like, that don't take away from the fact that Derrick James put his all into Earl Spence. Like, that's just the reality. You know what I mean? Like, he was working with him his whole professional career, built him up to a unified welterweight champion, was one belt short of undisputed. You know what I mean? Like, helped Earl Spence get to the top of the game. Like Earl Spence not doing that without a knowledgeable trainer. And Derrick James went on to make fighters better after that. So, despite how I may feel about Derrick James at this moment, he's a great trainer. There's a lot of shitty people who have that are very gifted, they're very talented at what they do. So even though I feel like he a sellout, even though I feel like he a coon, he deserves his money. He deserves his money. If he's supposed to get 10% of Earl's paydays and Earl got $25 million for a fight against Terrence Crawford, guess what? Derrick James needs his $2.5 million. Simple. Simple as that. If they agreed to 10% and Earl got 40 million, guess what? You got to pay that man $4 million. And that's the least you can do. See, that's the thing. You know, these fighters, these trainers, they're there before the managers, before the big managers, before the big promoters. Most of the time, especially when you coming up, a trainer's wasting money on you. That's what people don't understand. Coffee Plant is 10% of what a fighter earns. Typically, I don't know the agreement. Maybe they had a flat fee. I don't know. But typically, a trainer gets 10% of what a fighter earns in a fight. So 10% of 25 million is 2.5 million. 10% of 40 million is 4 million. And then, you know, you can just continue to do the math from there. 100 million, 10 million, all that good shit. But back to what I was saying. Fuck, I forgot what the fuck I was saying. Oh, yeah. No, wait. I was saying something about trainers. Oh, this is what a lot of people don't take into consideration about trainers. Let me tell y'all something about trainers, man. Trainers sacrifice more, if not just as much as the fighter. What a lot of people don't understand is fighter, unless you like this fucking Olympian, like a Vasily Lomachenko, gold medalists like Andre Ward, and you just like the biggest amateur in the world, you're not making much money on your come up, bro. You're not. And I know for a fact Earl Spence wasn't making that much on his come up because initially he wasn't going to sign with Al Heyman because Al Heyman really wasn't offering him, that big signing bonus and shit like that. He was offering him, stability. He was offering him, a platform where, like, at the end of the day, he'll be set up for life after boxing. And his father encouraged him to sign with Al. Before that, Earl Spence's father is the reason why he signed with Al. You know what I mean? It wasn't because, he just saw that it was Al. He just signed the dotted line. No. He didn't start off making much money in his professional career. So believe it or not, Derrick James, with all the time he was putting into Earl Spence, he probably lost a lot of money into Earl on the come up. You know what I mean? He had to sacrifice a lot of time where he could have been spending that time punching a clock or working with a fighter who actually brought money to the table. He probably lost a shit ton of money on with Earl on the come up, right? And then he started making a little bit of money, and what I mean, he giving Derrick James what he deserved. And then when they become these fucking superstars that's making 7, 8-figure paydays, then all of a sudden they want to these managers get in their ear, they promoters get in their ear and tell them, oh man, you paying your trainer this much money? Oh man, he shouldn't be getting that much money, man. If anything, you know what I mean? You ain't got a contract with him. You can pay him whatever you want. Because that's another thing. A trainer is the only person in boxing that cannot sign a contract with a fighter. A manager could do it, an advisor could do it, a fucking promoter could do it, but a trainer can't. So they're the ones who get fucked over the most at the end of the day because they know there's no contractual ties. And if they decide to fuck a trainer over, they know there's no legal consequences behind it. So these managers get in their ear, you know what I mean? And Earl Spence pretty much threw Al Heyman under the bus and was like, Al Heyman told me to pay you this much, so that's what I paid you. Really? Really? So fuck your trainer who put all his time into you and helps you develop your craft and put hours upon hours upon hours of time in the gym with you. Fuck, all the sacrifices he had to make sure you was the fighter that you came up to be. Fuck all of that shit. You just threw all of that, all that time, all that loyalty, all that dedication, all that consistency. You just threw all of that out the window to save a couple dollars. That trainer deserved every dollar you give him, and he probably owe more than what the fuck you giving him anyway. But you listening to these managers who really didn't give a fuck about you until you got popping. You ain't give a fuck. Like, yeah, sacrifices and risk. Yeah, because at the end of the day, these trainers don't even know if this shit gonna pay off. They just doing it because they believe in you. Let's keep it real. A lot of these fighters, they not gonna end up doing nothing crazy. But you putting your time into them because you like their character, you like what they bring to the table. You see that they got potential, but potential don't always equate to becoming successful. You know what I'm saying? So, trainers are the most underappreciated people in the sport of boxing. They're the most fucked over people in the sport of boxing. And if you got the wrong people around you, you're bound to fuck a fight. You bound. These fighters are bound to fuck a trainer over. These managers, these promoters, they want to make sure they getting their percentage. You know what I mean? So to make sure they preserving their money, they willing to try to or attempt to get in these fighters' ear to cut their trainer out the equation. Oh, you giving this guy 10%? Oh man, that's too much, man. You gotta pay taxes and all that. Man, you need to give him a flat rate. Oh damn, why should I give him a flat rate? What if I give you a flat rate? Oh no, man. No, man, I'm your manager, man. I'm helping you get the big dollars, man. You need to give your trainer a flat rate. Yeah, but my trainer's the one who helped me get to this point where I am, number one in the world. You wasn't with me shooting in the gym, nigga. That's how I would look at it. But it is what it is. What the fuck? That definitely ain't Bill Heyman. Somebody pack him, please. Definitely, that don't sound like some shit Bill would say. That was some wild shit. That's what Bill don't be talking like that. I hope not. Let me see. Yeah, they made that page today. Fucking loser. Niggas is losers. I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you. Spending all that time creating that account just to be a fucking loser. Shit is crazy. But yeah, man. So I feel how I feel about Derrick James, but he got fucked over, bro. And I heard like in the transcript that I read, huh? What the fuck does that mean? Slime is crazy, bro. But yeah, man. That's pretty much my spiel on trainers and shit like that, man. Um, but the transcripts that I've read, apparently Earl Spence gave him like an amount of money, and Derrick James is like, "Why are you giving me this much bread? You're supposed to give me this much bread. This is the agreement we had. Oh, this is what Al told me to give you, so that's what I'm giving you. What? That ain't what we agreed to. You got me fucked up. So that's why he decided to take it to court. You feel me? Earl Spence dead wrong for that. For him to call himself the truth and do some phony shit like that, bro, kind of glad Bud beat your ass, cuz. I ain't gonna lie to you, like. And that's just coming from, like, from a perspective of a trainer. I understand the work that's put into a training camp. I understand the sacrifices you make for a fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I coach amateur fighters, and I'm gonna keep it a buck. Some of these niggas I don't make no money off of. When I could train clients that'll pay me $100 a session. There's clients that are willing to pay me $100 a class, and they'll come 3 times a week, 4 times a week. I put them to the side to train this amateur kid that I feel like could be the goods. You know what I'm saying? That could actually do something with the sport of boxing. I'm sacrificing hundreds and thousands of dollars a month for this one particular fighter. So I understand the sacrifices. You know what I'm saying? So kind of glad that Earl got his ass whooped for that grimy shit he did to Derrick James. You feel me? Yeah, and Derrick James and Earl, they've been rocking since the amateurs, bro. So like that cut deep, bro. Shout out to the boy Jibo with the $5 super chat. He in the building. He says, I appreciate you giving us the trainer's perspective. Yeah, that's a perspective that a lot of people don't hear. You know what I'm saying? But I've been coaching for about to be 10 years. Like I've been training consistently for 10 years. I've been through everything that coaching brings. I done had some heartbreaking losses. I done had some great wins. I done been fucked over by fighters that I consider to be brothers. I done had partners steal from me. I done been through it all, bro. So when I see that these fighters that started from the bottom with their trainers, and then once they get to a certain place, they fucking their trainers over, that triggers the fuck out of me, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Earl didn't do anything to me. He did something to Derrick James, though, and that's what I got a problem with. What? Yo, they be targeting Coffee Plant. Like, what's wrong with niggas? Why they hate Coffee Plant so bad? I ain't never see somebody in the but mind you, we don't even know what Coffee Plant voice sound like, bro. Like, he just be keeping it cool in the comments, bro. He the man, and they hate him. That shit is crazy. That shit is crazy. Coffee Plant is the man. Don't nobody hate Coffee in the chat. They be targeting him in the comments. That shit is insane. The trainers are an important part of a fighter's success, bro. Sometimes the trainer be the main key to these fighters' success. For example, James Kirkland. When he was with Ann Wolf, this motherfucker was like a cheat code. They couldn't beat him. Whenever he left Ann Wolf, he put on the most terrible performances of his career. I don't think it was a coincidence that Tank put Coach Calvin to the side and had a close, controversial fight right away with Lamont Roach. I don't think that's a coincidence. The chemistry you got with Barry Hunter does not equate to the chemistry that you got with Coach Calvin. Coach Calvin needs to be the number one guy because Coach Calvin could read you in a way that no other coach can read you. He could bring something up out of you that another coach can't bring up out of you. Sometimes these trainers be the X factor as to why these guys are successful. And that's a fact. He said Ann Wolf had cuz on point facts. Yeah. And James Kirkland, he really wasn't, he was trying to escape the hard work. You know what I mean? Like he didn't want to go through that. So he went to go try to cut corners and get an easier trainer. And, every time he went somewhere else, he got fucked over. Every time he went somewhere else, he got fucked over. You just made 4 PB&J. Sam, damn, one ain't enough. You big bitch. God damn. Yeah, coffee plant. These niggas weird, cuz, but you know what I mean? All that mean is that you popping, cuz. That's all. That just mean you popping coffee. That's all. Cuz I ain't eat today. That's what all fat niggas say. You lying like a motherfucker. You ain't eat all day today. You decide to eat at 12 in the morning. Get the fuck out of here. At what level would you get rid of a promoter and just use a manager alone? When you should no longer need a promoter when you're already like at the top of the boxing world. Like if you a pound for pound rated fighter, like if you a multiple division world champ, like if your name ring bells, a promoter, in my opinion, is useless. Once you get to a certain status, like you know how like people know Shakur, people know Devin, people starting to know Richardson Hitchens. Like when you a recognizable name, there's really no point in you having like if you a hot commodity in boxing, I don't think you necessarily need a promoter anymore. Once you become this hot commodity in boxing, you can just have your manager. I heard Mike Tyson say you don't even need a manager, just get you a lawyer. And like if you want to manage yourself, you don't even need a manager. You can just get you a lawyer so they can read your contracts, make sure ain't no foul play in the contract, and go about it from there. But it's always good to get a lawyer too, because you don't want to be like burning yourself out dealing with the business side and then trying to deal with the fighter side. Get you a good manager, you know what I mean, who actually has your best interest, most likely somebody you came up with, not nobody you got referred to or stumbled upon, you know what I mean, while you was already hot. Yeah, I mean, get you somebody that you trust, somebody that's been around you since day one, somebody you could trust your money with and shit like that. Get you a good manager. And once you're a hot commodity and, these networks really want to deal with you, then you don't really need a promoter. Like, Bill Haney had a shit ton of money, bro. So Devin didn't really need a promoter because, when you coming up, promoters are important because they front the bread. They put the bread up for you to, get your opponents and stuff like that. Bill Haney was already doing that, paying for opponents to fight his son and shit like that. He didn't need a promoter because he was already financially well off. You feel me? And he built his son up with the money that he had. He was able to build his son up to a big name in the sport. He never needed to sign with a promoter unless he did it the one time to become undisputed. But that was a temporary deal. You know what I'm saying? That was a 3-fight deal, and that was it. So yeah, man, I feel like to answer your question, Teach, once you are a hot commodity, you know what I mean? These networks are willing to, pay money to see you fight. You don't really need a promoter no more. Or if you just got if you were just born with a shit ton of money, you don't really need a promoter no more. You could pay for slots on cards and just build yourself up. That's really all these promoters good for. You know what I mean? Putting bread up for motherfuckers who don't really got it at the time. If you got your own money, bro, like if you have millions of dollars at your, disposal, and you still sign with a promoter, you a fool to me. That's just me though. You a fool to me. Or if you have a sponsor that's capable of putting bread up for all your fights, why do you need a promoter? My follow-up was, what about Boots? He's hot in Philadelphia. Does he need one? Well, he has a partnership with Eddie Hearn, so that's a little bit different. That's because he got Boots Promotions. You feel me? And he got a couple fighters under his stable with Ishmael Muhammad and Dennis Thompson. They under his wing, and he's been paying for them to build their records up as well. So at one point in time, yeah, he needed I don't think he's necessarily like Cameron Duncan was like his promoter or whatever, but like at the same time, I don't know what that was. I don't know if that was a manager. I don't know what that was, but coming up, I guess you would say that he needed somebody to back him financially. But at this point in time, he don't necessarily need a promoter, but he may want to partner with a promoter so like they could take care of the business side so he could just focus on boxing. I guess that's what it is. What? Hold on, Karma. You DM me already, Karma? She said she'll add you to the list when David starts doing press. Oh yeah. Oh, it's lit. Hold on real quick. Hold on. Hey Lexi, what's going on? Salute. But I'm gonna definitely DM you. I'm gonna DM you my email for sure. She said she liked my hair, but what about my hair? What you talking about? What about my hair? Mark gonna have a suit and tie interview? Nah, never that. Nah, but man, I'll be really excited for that interview, bro. Like really excited. You feel me? So we gonna see. David Benavidez. Faded up. This called a I don't know what y'all call it where y'all from, but this just called it this a blowout. You feel me? I appreciate that, Lexi. Thank you. Shout out to you for coming through on the channel. I'm chilling. I can't complain. How you feeling? Do that weirdo still email me? He hasn't in a while. I didn't block him or nothing. If I ever need to be entertained, I just let him talk. You feel me? But nah. But welcome to the channel, Lexi. If you're new, please hit that subscribe button. We on the road to 3K. You know what I mean? We gonna pop off soon. So yeah, I mean, come through and enjoy the ride for sure. Yeah, bro, I'm telling you, interviewing one of my favorite bro. I'm trying to tell you, I could get the Boost interview. Uh the Boost interview, bam, Benavidez. I need them three. And legends. I want to interview Andre Ward. I want to interview Lennox Lewis. I need to get them interviews, bro. When it's all said and done. Once I do that, bro, I ain't even gonna lie to you. I'll be content with this boxing shit. I ain't gonna lie. I'll be content with this boxing shit. I might have to retire after that. You know what I mean? Just go disappear. Send it. You want me to send it right now? I'm streaming through my phone, Carmen. Oh, you subbed to me, Lexi. That's what's up. Thank you. I hope you know what I mean? I hope you ain't one of them trolls. Is she one of them trolls, people? We get a lot of trolls, Lexi. We get a lot of trolls. What's your social media then, Lexi? So the nation can verify you. Oh, you go live sometimes. What you be talking about? You saying you real? Damn, why coffee? What happened? Hidden for self promotion. Yo, Kobe, you can't do that. I was talking to her. Can't do that. Life, you be talking about life. Oh, all right. What's your soul? You got Instagram? I gotta see if you a troll or not. But let's get into some open topics, man. What we talking about? What we talking about? Let me know. Yeah, I'm sorry, Karma. Let me matter of fact, should I do that shit right now? Hold on real quick. So I'm it's gonna pause real quick. I'm gonna send Karma my email. There you go. There you go. I just DM'd her. All right, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. How you ain't got Instagram no more? That's crazy. But oh shit, she got a few subscribers. She got 1K. How you got 1K with 7 videos? What the fuck? That's impressive. Do you like the queen that? Oh no. Oh man, Lexi, let me find out you got that hoochie coochie energy. We don't like that. We don't like that ratchet shit, cousin. We find out. I can't really look at it right now, brother. I'm focused. But I subscribe though, so I'm sure it'll pop up on my timeline now. Bro got chug. What you talking about? RTD. What you talking about? What you talking about? I got fat, nigga. What you saying? What you talking about? What that mean, cuz? Speak for yourself. What you mean? Yeah, that's what I always do. I speak for myself, brother. Oh, all right. Yeah, you better not have it. We don't like that ratchet toxic shit over here, man. Once I see a girl listening to Lotto or Sexy Red, that's red flag on the play. You feel me? Like, we don't do that. You know what I mean? No comment, player. But let's talk about some shit, man. What we talking about? You Mexican and Puerto Rican. That's what's up. Yo, what coffee plant drawing, bro? Yo, coffee in his bag. What's up with coffee? He said 10 seconds would be a ratchet. Where my abs at? It's on your mom camera roll, nigga. Yeah, my abs on your mom camera roll, nigga. Booze Haney, 152. What's up with that? That's cat, bro. That's what's up with that. You know what I mean? I ain't have abs since like early this year. I put on some weight, bro. I probably put on like 15 pounds. You know what I mean? But my abs gonna be anywhere. It's on your mother's camera roll. You feel me? All y'all gotta do is look at my Instagram page. It's Coach. Wait, what is it? Is it Mazuma Boxing TV or some shit like that? Go look at my old photos when I was training. I was cut the fuck up. Or y'all could look at my old TikToks. I was in shape, bro. I had abs. Lexi said, ain't gonna lie, you look like my favorite artist. All right, let me hear it. Who's your favorite artist, Lexi? Cause I done heard it all. I feel like I know what you're gonna say, but go ahead, say it. Yeah, probably. Yeah, J. Cole. See, I know it. They used to call me J. Cole all throughout high school. I see it. My mom the type that she won't admit that I look like anybody. Like I could look just like somebody. She'd be like, he don't look like my son. He don't look like my son. I remember when I was like 15, I showed her a picture of J. Cole. And they was like, Mom, they keep saying I look like him. And she was like, damn, you do look like that nigga. I was like, wow. I was like, really? And just so you know, J. Cole is my favorite rapper too. He's been my favorite rapper since I was like 13. You feel me? I used to rap too. I got songs recorded from like 2016, still on my files. And I used to rap like J. Cole too. That's the crazy part. I was really influenced by J. Cole. He was me and him had a real similar childhood growing up. So if y'all know his music, then that was like when he talked about his childhood, that was real similar to what I experienced growing up. You know what I mean? Real similar. Yo, why these niggas, y'all be playing, bro. Why y'all keep doing that shit? 10 seconds for lack of socials. Yo. Where you from, Lexi? He definitely a great lyricist. I know all the J. Cole songs. I was the only nigga in J. Cole's concert that knew every song he had. All his mixtapes, all them John. I know every song from J. Cole. Every song that's released right now, I most likely know. You know what I mean? Like the warm up, Friday Night Lights, the Truly Yours mixtapes, the Revenge of the Dreamers mixtapes, Sideline Story, Born Center, 2014 Forest Hills Drive, For Your Eyes Only. Shit. Might delete later. I know all them Jones, bro. Oh, you live in Texas. Oh, you down. Oh, you down. Oh, yeah, so you must be like with your Mexican side then. Because I don't think there's that many Puerto Ricans in Texas. Am I wrong? Yeah, I'm what they call a Black Rican. I'm Puerto Rican. Our nationality is Puerto Rican, but my dad is a black man. So what Dr. Umar called me a Puerto Rican African. That's what he called me. Yeah, Ricans really stay on the East Coast. For real, for real. Well, Slime ain't. They're both Puerto Rican and Jamaican is both a nationality. Neither one of them are racist. So to be honest with you, the same shit I am. Cause uh, Jamaicans are African, believe it or not. We got no Puerto Ricans in Los Angeles. I peeped that shit, bro. I definitely peeped that shit. When I went over there for that one job, uh, word, that shit was a lot of Mexicans and black people when I was over there. When I went to Chicago, I was surprised how many Mexicans was over there. I was like, damn, what the fuck? Yeah, I mean, Black men all over the world, facts. But like I say, yeah, Puerto Ricans usually stick to the East Coast, whether it's like we talking about Florida, New York, uh, Philly, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Jersey, yeah, little shit like that. That's Westbrook. That's mainly where the Puerto Ricans at for real, for real. Yo, slime, this nigga, yo, this nigga was hilarious. Yo, y'all niggas the big, bro. Y'all niggas don't act. Y'all don't know how to act when a girl's in the building. Yo, but let's get another question before we get up out of here, man. Before we get up out of here. Nah, Lexi, we just be bidding, bro. It just be jokes for real. I think this is like the nah, probably not. I was about to say this is probably like the highest grossing live I ever did in terms of money. $25. Not bad. Not bad. We just be bidding. They clowns, you know what I mean? Does Hitchens fight Haney or Lopez? Um, I don't know, man, because Teofimo Lopez, he unpredictable. You feel what I'm saying? Like he unpredictable. We don't really know what the fuck he want. He might fight a Hitchens, he might not. He a coin toss. You feel me? I know Haney will fight Hitchens, but I don't think that's gonna happen at 140 because that interview that Bill Haney did with Champside, you know, he made it pretty obvious that Devin Haney ain't going back down to 140. So if that's a fight with if Hitchens and Haney's possible, that's probably gonna have to take place either at a catch weight or the full welterweight limit. So there's that. And you know, Tiafimo, he all over the place. They saying he, you know, his manager came out said he dealing with some, you know, issues internally or personally, whatever the case is. So he not coming back till later this year. I don't know. I don't know what Hitchens plans on doing. That weight cut didn't really look too good. Um, and I don't think Hitchens is going to unify with anybody. I don't see him fighting the Gary Antoine Russell anytime soon. I don't see him fighting the winner of Puello Matias anytime soon. I don't see him. I don't know. I don't know. That's we just gonna have to see who really step up to the plate. I'm not sure. You feel me, Lexi? Do you follow boxing? How you found this channel? Are you into boxing? I mean, you Mexican and Rican shit. You probably interested in boxing. How you found this channel? I always like to ask people. Who you referring to? You referring to Hitchens? Hitchens boxed phenomenally, but you know it's hard to gauge how good Hitchens is going up against somebody like Kambosos because Kambosos is a significantly smaller guy. He moved up in weight, and you know that wasn't the best version of Kambosos, to be honest with you. Yeah, we gonna yeah, she go live. But what was you scrolling through? Was you looking through like boxing and you just ran across my page or what? Because I be thinking YouTube be kind of like not like hiding me, but I think they definitely marginalize me though. I'm trying to figure out how people be discovering me because a lot of subscribers I got, they usually see me while looking through boxing stuff or yeah, probably shorts. Oh, okay. You was looking at fights and one of my posts came up. Oh, all right. That's what's up. That's cool. It's always interesting. A lot of people like came across my channel, seeing me talk on other channels, or they'll come across like a short. You know what I'm saying? There's some people that even found me on Twitter, TikTok. You know what I'm saying? So it's always interesting to see how people came across. Is there really a good version of Cambosis though? It's a great question, Karma. Probably not, to be honest with you. Like you know, Kambosa's best moments was against Tio, and you know, Tio had his reasons as to why he performed that way. So I don't know. Maybe Kambosa's had his like, you know, had his one moment, took advantage of it, and since he like this man had a hell of a, you know, he took that one opportunity and fucking made the most with it, man. He made millions of dollars off of that Teofimo Lopez win alone. Getting them Devin Haney paydays back to back, then fighting Vasily Lomachenko, then, you know, he do one fight, and then he goes and he fights Richardson Hitchens, bro. It's like, that's millions upon millions of dollars right there. And them tune-ups in between, I'm sure he got paid handsomely for too. So it's like, damn. You know, the good version of Kambosos was the one who beat Tio. He boxed pretty well. You know, he boxed pretty well. But yeah, I guess that, you know, that's why. I mean, that question alone is very valid, and that's probably why. You know, it just gives me a stronger reason as to why I say we can't really gauge how good Richardson Hitchens is, because that was Kambosos he beat. You feel me? Like, how far can we really? And this ain't no disrespect to his Hitchens. You know, he talented. He's fundamentally sound. He's simple, but he's effective. You know what I'm saying? And you know, the fundamentals get it done. You can win a fight alone off the fundamentals. If you need any example of the fundamentals winning fights, just look at Richardson Hitchens. You know what I mean? Sharp jab, sharp right hand, solid footwork, know how to go to his right, know how to go to his left, keep his hands up. You know what I mean? It's simple but effective. You don't have a favorite fighter? Oh, man. Okay. But yeah, it's hard to gauge where Hitchens is at the 140-pound division, especially amongst champions, because he beat Liam Paro, which, you know, Liam Paro was a sturdy dude at 140, but then your title defense was against somebody who I look at as less than Liam Paro. I thought that was a step down in competition. I honestly feel like Liam Paro would beat Kambosos. So, you know, Mazuma, a former fighter for Philly. They don't really know my story. They don't know my story like that, Coffee. The algorithm brought Lexi here. And that's exactly why I tell y'all to hit the like button. This is exactly why I tell y'all to subscribe. You know what I mean? Because, you know, we get new subscribers that come around and get to know who Mazuma is. And once they figure out who Mazuma is, they typically stay around. You know what I mean? So that's what's up. Aaron says, Dev can beat him with the intangibles if he is willing to take more risk. At least the Jojo Diaz version of Haney. That's what I'm gonna say. The main differences there are between Hitchens and Haney. I do feel like Haney is faster than Hitchens. I think he has faster feet. I think he got faster hands. And I think he's more versatile in the offensive department. However, I think what separates Hitchens more than Haney is that Haney is willing to take it there if he has to. You feel what I'm saying? I seen that man walk through fire and somehow find his way up out of it, especially with that Ryan Garcia fight. I seen this man face adversity. I think that he's a more battle-tested fighter in comparison to Hitchens. He's the more experienced fighter. I just seen more from Devin Haney, so I trust his character more. And I just think he's a better fighter overall. I think he's slightly better than Hitchens. Like, only a little bit. You feel me? Just a little bit better than Hitchens. But with the experience that he has, it gives me even more confidence to pick him if they were to fight. You feel me? Like, I don't know how Hitchens is going to react when, you know, he get in there with somebody who neutralizes one of his best weapons. I don't know. I don't know how Hitchens is going to react if he gets caught with a flush shot, if he gets knocked down. Like, Devin Haney done shown us exactly what he's going to do when he's in them situations. He done been through it all. You know, at 26, 27 years old, he done been through it all. We've seen him. I never met Floyd. What are you talking about, Coffee? Told her the day we became 3-time undisputed champion. All of that shit is lies, Lexi. That's not true at all. So to just keep it short, since you're new to the channel, these niggas funny as shit. I had a short amateur career. I've been in boxing my whole life, but I had a short amateur career. The reality is, my dad didn't really want me boxing too much. He put me in every sport besides boxing, but I guess he ended up giving in. Um, once I got older in age, I did a little bit of boxing. You know what I mean? Did my thing. But when around like 2018, so like 7 years ago, I got diagnosed with a chronic illness known as ulcerative colitis. It's a disorder known as IBD. And because I have a chronic illness that's irreversible, I'm not allowed to compete anymore because I couldn't pass a physical. So ever since then, I went from being a fighter to transitioning to a full-time trainer. I have my own boxing gym. I co-own a boxing gym with my father in Philadelphia. I'm from North Philly, by the way. Pivot Boxing Academy, PIVOTT Boxing Academy. I can always Google it and see what the gym look like. And that's where I'm at. I'm a father as well. I got a 2-year-old. And I'm a hustler. Straight like that. So that's my story. There's a lot more details, but that's pretty much who I am. Short synopsis, I guess you would say. This nigga, bro. Get this nigga Slime some medicine. Get this nigga some NyQuil. Go to sleep. Shout out to G-Bo. He said professional. I appreciate that, brother. Thank you, man. I just didn't want to give up on the sport. You feel what I mean? Like, I had my trials, my tribulations and shit like that, and damn near lost my life due to health issues. For those of y'all who, know, I done almost lost my life. Not taking care of myself. I put boxing was such a, fuck it, we done with the boxing topics. Fuck it, I could say it. Boxing meant so much to me at one point in time, and I know this sounds ridiculous, that it felt more of a priority to me than taking care of my health. Like, there was points where my disease was so bad that I needed to take breaks going up the steps. I done passed out in showers and had to and got up off of my own determination. Fucking all types of stuff, bro. Like, all types of stuff that I really don't want to get into on here. And I'm pretty much an open book, but it's crazy, bro. Like, I'm talking about like spending Thanksgiving and hospitalized and being told that, I'm gonna have to do this surgery and this doesn't. Oh yeah, we're gonna give you this medicine, but it could possibly give you cancer. And I was like, you know what, bro, I can't live like this no more. You feel me? I can't live like this no more. I got a son, I got a little twin. You know what I'm saying? I got another little J. Cole growing up. You feel what I'm saying? So, I gotta be straight for him. And, thank God, I was able to come across people who understood my illness and knew what it took to, get into remission. And I've been in remission for 3 years. Like 3 years I've been in remission. So yeah, man, shout out to everybody who has what they call mine is an invisible illness, because looking at me right now, it don't look like I have a chronic illness. It doesn't look like I have something that considers me disabled. You feel what I mean? Shout out to my ulcerative colitis warriors. Shout out to everybody that's, been through it, found ways up out of it, and is currently still dealing with it. I had the worst version of my illness. I had severe ulcerative colitis, where it's like I couldn't even step out of my house because of, the extreme fatigue, the brain fog, You know, I'm telling you, bro, like I remember, and this wasn't even that long ago. I remember I was carrying my son up. I was carrying my son up the steps. I've been in remission, so this is what happened. And this was me being irresponsible. I would be on remission, then I'll stop taking the supplements, thinking that I'm all fine, and then it'll catch back up to me. So when my son was turning 1, so this was around this time last year, I remember, and he just learned how to walk too. I live on the 3rd floor of my building. And I gotta go up the steps and shit. We ain't got no elevator. So I remember getting to the 1st floor after walking up, not many flights of steps, and I could not breathe, bro. And I had to have my son. Thank God he knew how to walk, and he's so curious, and he know how to climb and shit. I was so fatigued that he literally was leading the way up the steps with me. Like he had to walk up the steps. He was going up the steps one by one, climbing up the steps one by one. And I had to take my breaks going up the steps, bro. Like taking my breaks. You feel me? Like, you feel me? So that's what it is, bro. I done been through it all. You feel me? But for sure. Anybody got anything else they want to talk about? Anybody got anything else they want to talk about before I sign off for the day? I'll be going live again 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You feel what I'm saying? If everybody good, and we up out of here. You feel me? I love it when they get real for a moment. Somebody need it. I promise. That's a fact. Bro. I'm only giving y'all like 10%, bro. Like, there's a lot more crazy shit that happened to me that, you know, I could definitely like speak on, but it's just, I think it's TMI, to be honest with you. Like, yeah, bro. Yeah. But have a good night, Luxy. Thank you for coming by. But yeah, I guess we just gonna end it off with that, man. Shout out to the real fathers that's in the building. Shout out to the people that's going through something that, you know, scared to tell the people what they're going through. You know what I mean? You know, this is a safe haven for everybody that's a part of the nation. You feel what I mean? We here to talk as always. We talk boxing, but we also get into real life shit as well over here. You know what I mean? Because life is bigger than boxing. We love boxing. We boxing first on this channel, but boxing ain't everything. You feel me? So, you know what I mean? I appreciate you guys for coming through and allowing me to vent and, you know, talk the sport with y'all. And y'all some of the best people that I interact with on a daily basis. You feel me? So I hope y'all have a blessed, beautiful night. Like I said, I'll be back at y'all with another live tomorrow night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, of course, because we're going to continue to talk boxing and hold these motherfuckers accountable. Shout out to Karma Serene for getting this David Benavidez situation set up for me. And yeah. I'm going to get up out of here, y'all. Y'all have a blessed, beautiful one. I'm up out of here, man. Peace.